The rain was coming down in sheets, the kind that made the world outside look blurry and dreamlike. Inside a small, warm convenience store on the corner of Maple Avenue, the quiet hum of the fridge and the rhythmic ticking of the clock on the wall filled the silence. The cashier, a young woman named Amy, looked up from her phone as the bell above the door jingled. A teenage girl rolled inside in a wheelchair. Her clothes were simple, a little too big for her, and her dark hair hung down in tangled waves. Her legs were thin, tucked under a blanket that had clearly seen better days. The way she moved slowly, carefully made it obvious she was used to being ignored or pitied. Amy offered a polite smile, but her eyes betrayed suspicion. It wasn't unusual for people to wander in just to get warm, but something about the girl made her uneasy. The girl, whose name was Lila maneuvered toward the small shelf where the instant noodles were stacked. Her stomach growled softly, and she glanced around, hoping no one heard it. She picked up a small packet of noodles and looked at the price. $1.25. It might as well have been a fortune to her. Lila swallowed hard, placed it back, and looked toward the exit. But as she turned, her wheelchair brushed against a display rack of candy bars, knocking 2 of them to the floor. She bent down awkwardly, trying to pick them up, but one slipped and fell into her lap. She didn't even notice it had slid between the folds of her blanket. And that's when the storm began. "Hey!" Amy's sharp voice cut through the store. "What do you think you're doing?" Lila froze, startled. I was just trying to—" "Don't play dumb with me," Amy said, stepping around the counter. "I saw you take something. You think because you're in that chair, I won't check your blanket." Lila's face turned pale. "No, please, I didn't mean to." Amy crouched down and pulled out the candy bar from Lila's lap. "You see this? You were trying to steal." Tears welled in Lila's eyes. "No, I swear, it fell." "I didn't." By now, a few customers had turned to watch. Some whispered to each other. Others shook their heads in disapproval. To them, it looked clear a poor girl, trying to sneak candy while pretending to be innocent. Amy crossed her arms. "I should call the police. We don't tolerate thieves here." Lila's voice broke. "Please don't. I didn't mean to. I'm just hungry. I haven't eaten since yesterday." Amy scoffed. "Not my problem. You can't just steal because you're hungry. Everyone's got problems." That's when Ethan, a tall man in his early 30s, walked in, shaking rain off his jacket. His 8-year-old son, Noah, followed close behind, clutching a toy car in one hand. Ethan was a single dad. His wife had passed away 3 years earlier, leaving him to raise Noah on his own. Life wasn't easy, but Ethan had learned to smile through the struggle. He immediately sensed the tension in the room. His eyes went from Amy's angry face to the terrified girl in the wheelchair. "What's going on here?" he asked calmly. "This girl was caught stealing," Amy snapped. "She took a candy bar. You can see it right there." Ethan glanced at the candy bar, then at the girl. Her hands were trembling, and her voice barely came out when she whispered, "I didn't mean to." Ethan crouched down beside her. "Hey," he said gently. "It's okay. Just tell me what happened." "I dropped it," she stammered. "I tried to put it back. It fell into my lap. I didn't know." Ethan nodded slowly. Amy rolled her eyes. "Oh, come on. You can't just take her word for it. That's what they all say." Ethan stood up. "You said she stole a candy bar, right?" Amy crossed her arms. That's right. Ethan reached into his pocket and pulled out his wallet. How much is it? $2, Amy replied curtly. Ethan placed a $5 bill on the counter. Keep the change. She didn't mean any harm. That's not the point, Amy said, her voice rising. People like her? Ethan's tone sharpened. Amy hesitated but didn't back down. You know what I mean, always an excuse. Noah tugged at his dad's sleeve. Dad, can we help her? Ethan smiled faintly and looked back at Lila. You hungry? She nodded slowly. Yes, sir. He turned to Amy. Get her something to eat. I'll pay for it. Amy huffed but obeyed, ringing up a small sandwich and a drink. Lila's eyes filled with tears as she watched Ethan hand her the food. Thank you, she whispered. You didn't have to do that. Ethan smiled. Yeah, I did. Sometimes doing the right thing isn't about what we have to do, it's about what we choose to do. As they talked, a car pulled up outside the store. A sleek black sedan, the kind that didn't belong in this part of town. A man in a tailored suit stepped out, glancing around nervously. His face was pale, his eyes frantic. He opened the door and shouted, Lila! The girl froze. Dad? Everyone in the store turned. The man rushed in, dropping to his knees beside her. Oh my God, Lila! I've been looking everywhere for you. Amy blinked. Wait, this is your dad? Ethan frowned. The man didn't look like someone struggling to make ends meet. His watch alone probably cost more than Ethan's car. The man turned to Amy. Did she do something wrong? Amy hesitated, suddenly flustered. No, sir, just a misunderstanding. Ethan could see the shift instantly. Money had just changed everything. The man's eyes softened as he turned to Lila. You scared me to death. I told you not to leave the hospital alone. I'm sorry. Dad, she whispered. I just wanted to feel normal again. He hugged her tightly, and in that moment, Ethan realized this wasn't just a poor girl. This was someone from a life far removed from the world he knew. But he didn't care about that. He hadn't helped her because of who her father was. He helped her because no one else did. Outside, the rain began to slow, and for the first time that day, the sky seemed to clear just a little. The tension in the store softened as the rain faded into a light drizzle. The black sedan still glistened with raindrops outside, its polished surface reflecting the dim streetlights. Inside, though, a storm of emotions brewed silently between everyone present. Lila's father, Mr. Donovan, still knelt by her wheelchair, his voice trembling with relief. You have no idea how worried I was. The hospital called me. They said you were missing. I've been driving around for hours. Lila avoided his eyes, guilt washing over her features. I just wanted to go out for a bit, Dad. I hate feeling trapped in that room. I wanted to see the city again. Mr. Donovan sighed heavily, brushing her wet hair away from her face. You could have gotten hurt, sweetheart. What if something happened? Amy, now awkwardly fidgeting behind the counter, tried to act like she hadn't just accused a millionaire's daughter of stealing candy. I'm really sorry, sir. It was just a misunderstanding. I didn't know who she was. Ethan, standing nearby with his son Noah, felt his jaw tighten at her words. Didn't know who she was. He'd heard that tone before, the kind that only apologized once someone's worth was revealed. Mr. Donovan looked up at Amy. It's all right. I'm sure you were just doing your job. Amy smiled, a nervous, forced kind of smile. Yes, of course, sir. Just trying to keep the store safe. Lila turned her eyes toward Ethan. "He's the one who helped me," she said softly. "Everyone thought I stole something, but he believed me." Mr. Donovan stood, turning his attention toward Ethan for the first time. He extended a hand. "Thank you for helping my daughter. You didn't have to get involved." Ethan shook his hand, his grip firm but humble. "Someone had to," he said simply. "Didn't seem right, watching her get treated that way." Noah, still holding his toy car, piped up shyly, "She didn't steal anything. The candy just fell." Lila smiled at the boy, her eyes kind. "Thank you, little man." Mr. Donovan crouched beside his daughter again, his tone softening. "Lila, you should have called me. I know it's hard, but you can't just leave like that." Her voice trembled. "You're always busy, Dad, always in meetings or on the phone. I just wanted a moment to feel normal. I wanted to buy something myself, not have someone buy it for me." That hit Ethan hard. He could see the pain behind her words, how she felt trapped by pity, by money, by her condition. Mr. Donovan looked guilty. "You're right," he admitted quietly. "I haven't been around as much as I should be. I'm sorry." Amy coughed lightly, breaking the heavy silence. "Would anyone like something else before you go?" she asked, forcing a smile. Ethan shook his head, clearly done with her false friendliness. "We're good." As Mr. Donovan helped Lila toward the door, she turned back to Ethan. "What's your name?" "Ethan," he said with a gentle smile. "And this is my son, Noah." "Well, Ethan, thank you," she said, "for believing me when no one else did." Noah grinned. "You're welcome. My dad says good people help even when no one's watching." Mr. Donovan smiled faintly at that, something shifting in his expression, like the words had reached him deeper than he expected. "Wise kid you've got there." Ethan shrugged modestly. "Trying to raise him right." The group left the store, the sound of rain now replaced by the hum of the car's engine as Mr. Donovan helped his daughter into the back seat. Before getting in, he turned to Ethan again. "Can I at least give you something for helping her? Money or—" Ethan shook his head quickly. "No need for that. I just did what anyone should have done." Mr. Donovan hesitated, clearly unused to being turned down. "Still, I'd like to do something to thank you." Ethan smiled. "If you really want to thank me, just make sure she gets to do normal things sometimes. She deserves that." The businessman paused, then nodded. "You're right. Thank you, Ethan." With that, he got into his car and drove off, taillights disappearing into the misty night. Ethan and Noah stood in silence for a moment. Noah tugged at his dad's coat. "Dad, was that girl's dad really rich?" Ethan chuckled softly. "Looked that way. So, rich people have problems too." Ethan looked down at his son, thinking, "Yeah, buddy, everyone's got problems. Money can't fix everything." They started walking home through the puddles, their shoes splashing softly against the wet pavement. Ethan carried a bag of groceries in one hand, Noah skipping beside him. As they turned down their street, Ethan thought about what had just happened. The way Amy's attitude flipped the moment she realized who Lila's father was, it made him uneasy. It reminded him of the world he was raising his son in, a world where kindness often depended on what someone looked like or how much they had. He squeezed Noah's shoulder gently. "Hey, bud." "Yeah? Promise me you'll always try to see people for who they are, not what they have. Deal?" Noah grinned up at him. "Deal, Dad." They shared a smile, the kind that warmed the cold night air. Meanwhile, in the car, silence filled the space between father and daughter. Lila stared out the window, watching raindrops race each other down the glass. Her father glanced at her through the rearview mirror. "You really scared me, you know that?" he said softly. "I know," she murmured. "I'm sorry." Mr. Donovan's chest tightened. "You're not broken, sweetheart. Then why do you always treat me like I am?" she whispered. The words stung. He opened his mouth to reply, but nothing came out. Instead, he just nodded slowly. When they got home, a mansion nestled on a quiet hill, Lila didn't say another word. She rolled straight to her room. Her father stood in the doorway, guilt written all over his face. That night, while she slept, he sat alone in his office, replaying Ethan's words in his mind. "If you really want to thank me, just make sure she gets to do normal things sometimes." For the first time in a long while, Mr. Donovan realized how out of touch he'd become, not just with the world, but with his daughter's heart. Asterisk, asterisk. Part 3 around 1,000 words. Asterisk, asterisk. The sun peeked through the blinds of Ethan's small apartment the next morning, casting golden lines across the worn-out couch and the kitchen table covered with breakfast plates. The smell of scrambled eggs and toast filled the air as Noah hummed a tune, swinging his legs under the chair. Ethan poured coffee into a chipped mug and smiled at his son. "You're in a good mood today." Noah grinned, taking a bite of toast. "Because you were a hero last night." Ethan chuckled. "Hero? I just helped someone who needed it." "But Dad," Noah said earnestly, "you always say heroes are people who do the right thing, even when no one's watching." Ethan's smile softened. He reached over and ruffled his son's hair. Just then, there was a knock at the door. It was early, too early for visitors. Ethan frowned and set his mug down. "Stay here, buddy." When he opened the door, a man in a dark suit stood there, holding an envelope. "Mr. Ethan Walker." "Yes?" The man handed him the envelope politely. "This is from Mr. Donovan. He asked me to deliver it personally." Ethan blinked in surprise. "Mr. Donovan? As in Lila's father?" "Yes, sir. He asked that you read it at your earliest convenience. Have a good day." The man nodded and left as quietly as he came, stepping into a sleek black car parked at the curb. Ethan closed the door slowly, staring at the envelope in his hands. It was thick, sealed with elegant stationery that looked completely out of place in his modest kitchen. "Is that from the rich guy?" Ethan chuckled. "Looks like it." He tore the envelope open carefully and unfolded the note inside. It read, "Is greater than asterisk asterisk. Dear Mr. Walker, asterisk asterisk, is greater than I owe you more than a simple thank you. After last night, I realized how blind I've been to people, to kindness, and to what my daughter truly needs. You reminded me of something I forgot long ago, that decency doesn't come with a price tag. Is greater than I'd like to meet you again, not to pay you back, but to offer you something meaningful. Please join me for lunch today at the Garden Bistro, 12:30 p.m. Bring your son if you wish. Is greater than Charles Donovan." Ethan stared at the note for a moment, unsure how to react. "Lunch? With a millionaire?" he murmured, shaking his head. "That's new." Noah's face lit up. "Can we go, Dad? Please? Maybe they have fries." Ethan laughed softly. "Yeah, maybe they do." But part of him hesitated. He wasn't used to stepping into someone else's world, a world of shiny cars and expensive suits. Still, something about the letter felt genuine. Not pity, gratitude, maybe curiosity, too. He folded the letter, slipped it into his jacket, and said, "All right, kiddo, let's make ourselves look presentable." By noon, Ethan and Noah stood outside, asterisk asterisk, the Garden Bistro ***, an elegant restaurant surrounded by fountains and trimmed hedges. Ethan's boots squeaked awkwardly against the marble floor as they entered. The hostess gave him a polite smile, though her eyes darted to his worn jacket. "Reservation?" she asked. Yeah, Mr. Donovan invited me." Her expression changed instantly. "Ah, of course. Right this way." They were led through the dining hall to a private garden patio, where Charles Donovan sat beneath a white umbrella, sipping tea. When he saw them, he stood immediately, his smile warm and sincere. "Ethan! I'm so glad you came." Ethan shook his hand. "I wasn't sure if I should, honestly." Mr. Donovan laughed lightly. "I understand. Sit, please. And this must be your son?" Noah nodded, grinning. "Hi, sir." "Hello, Noah," Mr. Donovan said kindly. "Order whatever you like, okay?" As they sat down, Ethan couldn't help noticing how different everything felt here. The waiters moved silently like ghosts. The air smelled faintly of jasmine, and the plates looked too fancy to touch. Mr. Donovan leaned forward. "Ethan, I wanted to see you because I owe you something far greater than money. You saw my daughter, not her